Build a Big Podcast, David Hooper here. Going to get political, or talk about politics anyway, but not really. Specifically, I want to talk about the Democratic debates and some of the things that they have been doing when they broadcast them. And by they, I mean whichever network. I'm going to talk about the last one. If you watched it, you probably have heard some highlights, but what you may not have heard is this.
Right now, the road to the White House drives through Detroit. The Democrats are in Michigan for a premier two-night event, a defining moment that will determine who gets left behind and who takes on President Trump.
This is our chance.
There is no middle ground.
Don't let anybody tell you that freedom is a conservative value. It is an American value.
Tonight, a fight for the heart of the party.
That was from CNN. They are going full-on reality show with that intro. Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, how would you describe them? Here's what CNN said.
Longtime friends fighting for the same cause and the same voters.
I feel like that should be like fighting for the same voters in an all-out 20-man battle royale. That's how I would have said it. But here is what they said.
The stage is set for the biggest presidential field in history to campaign for change in a state they want to take back from Trump.
There is no such thing as a permanently red state.
This democracy must come together. We must repair it. There is nothing that will stop us.
Democracy is not for sale.
What does that have to do with podcasting? That's why I mentioned this. I bring this up to talk about elements of your podcast. Intros, and I'm talking the voice, the words, and also the sound effects, and also the content of your podcast, the reason people are actually listening. I hear podcast intros like this all the time. What I mean by this is the big music, big voiceover, hyped up energy. Then, just like this debate, they cut to the host, and the host is boring. Sounds like college radio. Hello, welcome to the podcast. My guest today is, hey, how you doing? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Listen to Bernie Sanders. He's yelling so loud, his mic is clipping.
There is nothing that will stop us.
But his delivery is hardly as energetic as this intro. Same for Elizabeth Warren.
Democracy is not for sale.
Great passion, but it's not a match. This debate was different when you watched it than when you listened to it. If you watched it, it looked like a reality show. Nice lighting, big stage. But if you listen to it, sounds like C-SPAN. Yeah, there are moments of excitement, but it's not like reality television or a sporting event. It's a debate. And the way they set it up, they set these guys up to lose because they can't match the energy of that intro. Listen to this clip.
Progressives at center stage defending their ideals against a crowd of more moderate challengers. Mayor Pete Buttigieg and former Texas Congressman Beto O'Rourke.
Thank you.
This is a debate, not a rock concert, not a pep rally, and that was the best clip of Beto that they could find. Thank you. You don't see this so much in podcasting intros, but you do see it elsewhere. YouTube videos with somebody speaking on stage, lights, smoke going off. Then the video clips to a mobile phone or a live stream. Hey guys. Hey, okay. Are we live? Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. If you can hear me, type in the comment box. If your podcast intro doesn't match what you do and the energy that you bring during the podcast, you may be setting yourself up to lose too. So here's some homework for you. I want you to listen to your intro. Is it too long? Maybe. I used to advise people to do a 30-second intro. 30 seconds is easy to skip for people who listen to your podcast all the time, but it's quick enough for somebody who hasn't listened to your podcast to get the gist of it without having to go through tons and tons of info and hero clips. And hey, this is John from Stanford, Illinois, and you're listening to the blank, blank, blank. Hey, this is Cindy from New York City, and you're listening to, we hear stuff like that, and even 30 seconds can be too long. On this episode, more or less what I said, hey, this is Build a Big Podcast. I'm David Hooper. Now, if I wanted to add something to it, hey, this is Build a Big Podcast, how to get more people to your podcast, build a greater connection with your audience, and make money with your message, I'm David Hooper. I could have done it something like that. 30 seconds could be too long. So ask yourself, is it too long? Does it set me up to win by attracting the people that I want? This Democratic debate, maybe they wanted those kind of people like the wrestling fans and the reality television show fans because CNN was doing it and CNN wants advertisers. But is that good for the candidates? I don't know. When you own the show, you need to think about that kind of stuff. What a network would do and what you see and what you may be copying could be completely different from what's actually good for you as the owner of your podcast and as the host. Does it set you up to win by attracting the people you want? Next question, does it match the energy that you bring to your podcast once the intro is over? Big voiceovers, highly energetic music. Are you going to be able to keep that up throughout your podcast? So examine your music, examine the voiceover person that you're using, and examine the words of your intro. If you want more thoughts about spreading your message, I've got my big podcast toolkit. It is available to you for free. It's got my 11 rules for podcasters. It's got social media templates. It's got ways for you to attract an audience. It's got simple and easy things that you can do right now to attract more people to your podcast. Again, you can get it for free. And to do that, go to bigpodcast.com/toolkit. While you are there, go to bigpodcast.com/subscribe. Subscribe to this podcast, Build a Big Podcast, and make sure that you never miss an episode. I make it easy for you. 3 buttons, one for iPhone, one for Android, one for an RSS if you want to subscribe that way. All this is at bigpodcast.com. Go there right now before you forget. Get the toolkit, subscribe to the podcast, and I will see you on the next episode of Build a Big Podcast.